Taking a break from the topic of the last few days to talk about another that I hold to be of great importance. To those unaware, I made a video about AI generated art almost a year ago now, in which I talked about what I saw were the main problems with AI. To do a quick recap, although I highly recommend you go back and watch the original video, I'll link it down below. The main problem I found with AI was not a matter of jobs, but rather of the soul. How AI would reduce the human connection. How many people who would not go on their own journey down the path of self-discovery, and things along those lines. This video is not for people who make AI generated content, but is specifically for artists who speak out against AI. Before I begin, I need to hammer in the point, and I will do so repeatedly, that I come from a place that puts the arts as one of the highest importance of human civilization. This extends from paintings to dance to artistic expressions in pottery and clothes making. I think the people in the West do not value the arts and aesthetics nearly enough. The arts bring beauty and inspiration in a way that humans will not be able to get without it. Between myself, who has commissioned art many times in the past, and the many people I have spoken to who has done the same, there seems to be a common theme nowadays that people keep running into when commissioning artwork. I don't want to sugarcoat it, and I hope that you listen to the explanations afterwards. The common theme is that a lot of you suck. I promise this is not going to be a video just mindlessly bashing you, just keep watching. I mean that phrase, you suck, in two ways. The first and less obvious one is that so many of you are terrible to work with. Constantly late, making weird changes or alterations to people's requests to add your own artistic expression, or having a strange stuck-up attitude towards your customers, like how dare they waste your time with a request for open commissions. I remember in 2009 or 2010, when I made my first commission request for my logo for my business. Again, this was a business request. I had a friend make a rough draft sketch of what I wanted, and we asked the guy to put in the colors that you see me using now for my logo. What he did was throw out the color scheme and most of the detail that was requested, making it this very bland, generic, abstract drawing that was all shades of a light blue. No greens, no reds, just light blue. When we asked what the hell was this, he gave some spiel about how he learned in art class that people preferred simple designs, and that he felt blue would appeal to people's emotions better, and some other stuff that was irrelevant to what I had asked. This is probably the second most common complaint that I have seen. The first being that everyone's constantly late, but we'll get to that. People will request your artistic expertise for things they don't know how to explain or how to properly do. They don't request you change their original vision for your own. There seems to be a prevailing problem among people who choose to go the artist path for their livelihood. Many, and boy do I mean many, artists who decide to go all in with their art seem to have this grand vision of they spend their days drawing or painting whatever they want, and other people buy whatever they make. Maybe, at some point, you can hit that rare number of people who can do that, but until then, your job is to only make what others request of you. And there seems to be a strong level of resentment towards that. This is a genuine request, either in the comments or in my Discord. Anyone who wants to have a good faith discussion about this, I want to get a better understanding of this. I have some idea, but I've never spoken to an artist directly about this. Why does it fill so many with such contempt? And it's not like you guys are unique in this problem. When I was helping organize the Chicago International Tea Festival, the head organizer, who had many years of experience organizing tea conventions, told me how she saw many businesses fail because so many people opened their business expecting to just sit around drinking tea all day while the money rolled in. I can attest, as I'm sure many artists here can as well, that the business side of these creative endeavors really suck, but I don't take it out on my customers. Something that gets under a lot of people's skin is that many commissions constantly arrive late. This is part of the contempt that so many seem to have for their clientele. I'm not even talking about a day or two late. I'm talking months late in some cases, with no form of even partial refund to the person who made a commission. The person I found to work on my comic characters last year didn't have this problem. In fact, even with no set deadline, when they took a bit longer than normal, they offered to give a partial refund to make up for it, to which I promptly declined because I enjoyed the work she did. But, from what I've gathered from people I've spoken to over the years, commissions being over a week late seems to be commonplace. It's disrespectful. I said there's two parts to the comment saying you guys suck. I'm gonna have to hit you guys hard with this. I'll also remind you this obviously does not apply to everyone, and that I hold the arts in extremely high regard and importance. A lot of you guys suck in terms of your skill, and let me be honest, it hurts me, genuinely hurts me to even type this, and probably say it when I stop recording, because I know how much of an insult on your craft can really sting, but I need to say it. I have found an awfully strong correlation between how much someone hates AI and how lacking their skills actually are when I visit the Twitter profiles. For obvious reasons, I'm not gonna post examples. There's a limit to how much of a dick I can be here. But people who seem to struggle to properly align the left and right eye are trying to tell people like me that AI art looks ugly and I should respect them instead. There's a reason for this, I think. It may not apply to all, but it will apply to some, and I hope this message gets through to you. Again, none of this is coming from a place of hate or contempt. Trust me, if I hated you, you'd know. And I will be bitching out the entire art community later in this video. Many artists draw out of the love they have for it, and that is important and commendable. Unfortunately, that alone will not be enough to make you the best that you can be. How many pick up books full of different theories and styles for you to learn, or practice something that you find difficult, doing it over and over and over again, to the point where you scream in your head that you hate that you even began drawing in the first place? How many push their boundaries past their comfort zone, past the part where they feel only love? This is my genuine, heartfelt message to a lot of you. If you want to be the best that you can be, you're going to have to push yourself past those points of comfort. I was not a fan of reading books on flavor theory and chemistry so I could better understand how to make tea, but it did help out in the end in ways that I would not have been able to pick up all by myself. Let me tie this back to AI art. The images on screen and below were all generated by me. The overly sexy ones were made purely out of experimentation and were not edited outside of their first drafts. The more anime-themed ones are waifu mascots for my tea, some of which took an entire day and the help of Photoshop to finally finish. They are all placeholders. When finances allow, I wish to hire an artist to make the official versions. None of them are my true vision. Some are close, others I barely consider to be even placeholders. If I didn't have access to making this art, the ability to one day pay an artist would have been considerably further away. With my example, it ultimately leads to a real artist making money that they otherwise would not have. I can safely say, with AI art, there are a lot of limits to what I can do. You may notice how they all have a very similar feel in terms of camera angles, or where the characters are looking. There's a lot of advanced things and little nuances that I just cannot properly do. For example, for my Christmas in a Cup tea, I tried to make an anime waifu in a Santa suit, climbing a Christmas tree with the camera aiming down from above the tree, with her holding a star in her hand, trying to put it on top. After hundreds of tries, I couldn't so much as get the camera above the tree. For someone with artistic skill, this would not be much of a problem. And I think this is something that AI art is doing. It's separating the wheat from the chaff. If you feel that you can be replaced by AI art, that is a you problem, in that you cannot get over this, what should be minor, hurdle. This one I do feel like being a little bit of a dick on. After using AI, it gave me even more appreciation for talented artists. If you cannot offer me something that I couldn't get with AI, your skills need more improving. And I'm not saying this as a dig. Not everyone's going to be on the same level. Everyone is constantly improving. But you cannot be an asshole to people who use AI because of your lack of skill. Here's the part of the video where I'm not saying anything with the hopes of the art community improving on. This is my middle finger to many of you. Because of physical reasons beyond my control, I cannot properly hold a pencil. If you ever look at my handwriting, it looks like chicken scratch, written by a 5-year-old with Parkinson's. My joints in my fingers and thumb are all messed up. I can't even properly open and close my left hand slowly without my ligaments going crazy. My thumb pops in and out of its socket like it's nobody's business. My right arm suffered nerve damage, and it's a miracle I can even use it, after the doctor told me I would never use it again. Even with all that, there was a period of probably about 2 months where I tried anyway. I got myself a starter kit, and began practicing to draw. Spoiler alert, it didn't help. Out of all that we've discussed so far, this is probably the only thing where I tell the whole of the art community to go screw itself. Some people just cannot draw. It's not a matter of practice. I don't care if PewDiePie improved over 100 days. If I made a 100-day challenge video and I didn't improve at all, would you change your mind? No, you probably wouldn't. So take your self-righteous attitude about this and shove it. Because I would draw if I could. But even so, I still have artistic expression I wish to get out. And you guys still care about that, right? The artistic expression? The soul of what you're doing? Because frankly, that's another thing it seems like it's missing from the art community. Many of you seem to have lost your love for the arts and are just looking to run a business. Then you go and run the business poorly. On that note of artistic expression, many people use AI for inspiration, myself included. Hell, even you guys can use it for inspiration. But I've heard many stories now of people who used AI in order to give a proper representation of what they wanted to an artist. And this made the artist flip their lid and dismiss the person who commissioned the art entirely. Then they complain they don't make enough money. If it's not obvious at this point, this whole video should have painted a picture for you guys. And that's that a lot of you guys are needlessly acting like insufferable dicks. The reason for this video is to let you know that you are doing more harm than good for your blind, self-righteous crusade. And as someone who does not want AI to be taking over, and who would love to see the art community thrive, I need you to stop. I've seen how some of you use Photoshop or Illustrator to fill in a lot of your images, which is in itself using AI, granted a lesser AI, to do the work for you. Many of you are able to create amazing pieces of art in Photoshop that you would never be able to do with a pen and paper, or a painting, or anything of the sort. And that's okay. How would it feel if you were belittled because you used a pattern brush tool, or instead of mixing the colors yourself, you used the color selector tool from another's image? That's how your criticism sounds like to everyone else. The final part of this video I saved for last because it will let me know who watched the video and who commented without watching, letting me dismiss them outright in the comments. AI art does not steal your work. I figured this out when I watched a video from a lawyer who was suing AI, and he explained how the AI learning algorithm worked. Through his attempt at explaining why AI was stealing people's works, I learned that's not what's happening. AI scans an image and creates a data set, a bunch of numbers and formulas to give a broad, generalized idea of something, like let's say an eyeball. It finds many eyeballs and makes a formula to decide the approximate concept of what an eyeball is. It does not save your image, then give it to someone else. The point of this video is not for people to rally against artists. For what feels like the hunch with time, I have to say that I think a huge societal problem is the lack of appreciation for the arts. But it's gonna be difficult to convince everyone else if, whenever they look at the art community and they see a bunch of pretentious, stuck-up pricks who can't even deliver on time, and sometimes can't even deliver the proper item because they decide to change what was asked of them, it's making things a little bit difficult. AI art is not taking jobs away from anyone competent. If you are threatened by AI art, you need to realize that the problem is in you, not the AI. The real threat of AI is taking away the journey from people learning the arts themselves, not your jobs. To see a different side of artistic expression not done by painting, but with drink, check out my own website, The Dragon's Treasure, a haven for anime and tea lovers, where we sell anime-themed loose-leaf tea, most of which is made from scratch by myself. We've been open for almost 9 years now. Read our reviews and know that these teas are the real deal. It'll help support the business, this channel, and myself. And it'll keep me from hiring people who demand 2 to 5 minute segments on a product you probably don't even care about.